Good morning, students. We have reached the last part of the explanation of the story Chandni. In the last lecture, I had stopped where Chandni succeeds to jump out the window and move about freely now. Let's see whether this decision of hers to opt freedom over the luxuries in life, whether does it prove fruitful or does it fire back. So we begin from page number 49. Chandni reached the hills. It seemed to her that the old hills were standing in a row to welcome her. So she reached the destination, the dream destination where she was longing to go, and she knew that that fresh breeze, the feel of it would refresh her, and then all that appetite what she has lost would be coming back. She felt like a child meeting her parents after years of separation. So that was kind of a strong feeling which what she was feeling. Wherever she went, the tall grass rose to embrace her, the flowers bloomed to amuse her, and the wind sang an endless song of welcome. This is how she felt. Like tall grass, embrace means gale laga lena. So she was feeling as if when the tall grass would touch her, that they are welcoming her, making her feel warm. And the flowers which were blooming here and there, they were trying to entertain her, to amuse her, to make her happy. And the wind which was blowing actually sounded to her like a song of welcome. How different all this was from her past in the prison house of Abu Khan's compound. It was the happiest day in Chandni's life. So when she compared this particular thing with Abu Khan's dungeon, prison, whatever you can call it, this was totally different. That day she played for hours on the grassy slopes of the hills. She met a herd of wild goats who asked her to join their group. But Chandni politely refused. She wanted to enjoy her new freedom all by herself. She did come across a herd of wild goats, but they told her to come along with them to stay in the group. So she said, I want to be free because I've just got freedom and I've just started enjoying it, so let me be alone. The sun disappeared behind the hills and soon darkness enveloped the grass, the flowers and the trees. So it gets very early, very dark early in the hills. So this process started off, and she saw that everything now was dark. She couldn't see anything around. The wind stopped blowing. There was stillness all around except for a strange sound which was coming from the bushes. She had never been to the forest. So now she could hear something strange noise coming, but it was from the bushes, but couldn't make out what it was. The sound was like a grunt. Grunt is made by an animal, so she could hear that it was a grunt. What was it? It wasn't Abu Khan's voice calling her back to the compound, nor was it the voice of another goat. Then Chandni thought of the dangerous wolf who lived in the hills. So here comes an encounter of her with the wolf. She felt scared. Obviously she would feel scared because all this time she was enjoying her freedom, and suddenly if a wolf would come in front of her, she doesn't know what is to be done with the wolf. So she was feeling scared now. Should she go back to the safety of Abu Khan's hut? No, she said to herself. Death in an open field is better than life in a small hut. This was her spirit, what led her to the hills, leaving all the luxuries of Abu Khan's hut at the back. But this statement is so strong, saying that freedom, even if it comes at the cost of my death, it's okay with me, rather than living a life like a prisoner with Abu Khan. The wolf had come out of the bushes and was staring greedily at Chandni. It was so desperate to eat her. His eyes were shining like burning coals in the darkness. That's how eyes of animals look in the dark. He seemed in no hurry. He knew the new goat was his because he knew she did not have that much of capacity to fight back. So he knew that the goat was his. The wolf and the goat sized up each other. So when you are when animals get involved in a fight, firstly they check whether the size of the other animal is good enough to be challenged or not. So they were sizing up each other. That means they were getting ready for a one-on-one fight. The wolf was big and ferocious, whereas the goat was, though healthy, was very small and comparatively to the wolf. Ferocious means a very angry kind of a thing, very deadly looking animal. But small is not weak. Definitely, like you say, like an ant, if it gets into the trunk of an elephant, it can drive it also crazy. The elephant is huge in size. Size doesn't matter. The content within you, the valor within you, the strength within you, the courage within you does matter. Chandni stood firm on her legs, head slightly bent and horns jutting out. So this was her position when she stood over there, and she had horns on her head. Now she was standing in a mode of fighting. She was a picture of courage. Imagine a small goat fighting a big wolf. So obviously that was not, I would say, something maddening to do, but yes, it was courage. She looked like a brave soldier ready to fight a treacherous enemy. The treacherous enemy over here, somebody can cheat you and do harm to you. So she was ready to fight back for her freedom. I must put up a good fight, Chandni thought. Success or failure is a matter of luck or chance. So she said, I'm not worrying about what can be the outcome of this particular fight. But for now I'm worrying that I should be very well prepared. I should be very, very well prepared to fight back what is in front of me. The fight began. It went on through the night. The moon, which had been watching the fight, began to grow pale and suddenly hid behind the clouds. That means the whole night Chandni fought the wolf. For like us at the beginning, at the beginning of this encounter, you and I definitely thought that it would be a cakewalk for the wolf to kill Chandni and move away from there. But no, it was not that. It was like she gave a tough fight to the wolf. The stars also began to disappear one by one. A faint light appeared in the east, and the morning call for prayer came from a distant mosque. This is called the azan. So from mosque, the azan, you can hear the azan because the azan is called out to declare that it's ready to offer namaz. So that voice could be heard because it was dawn, the break of the day. The first rays of the sun saw Chandni lying on the ground. She was completely soaked in blood. The wolf, tired and sleepy, was getting ready to devour her. Devour means to eat her up. Now, Chandni was lying over there fully covered in blood because he, obviously if you talk about the physical strength of the two, the wolf was the stronger one. So he had succeeded in killing her, but not with such ease, not with such comfort. She did not give up before fighting. She fought and fought till the last like a brave heart. An assembly of birds perched on the top of a tree nearby was debating the result of the fight. Who's the winner? So there were birds over there perching on the tree, asking each other, who was the winner? The person. Shall we see only the outcome of the fight, or shall we see the process of the fight? So this was a debate which was going on. The wolf, of course, most of them said, a wise old bird declaimed with confidence, Chandni is the winner. So because the bird was wise, so usually owls are considered to be the wise birds. So because the bird was wise, it knew that though there was no any physical compatibility of the fight between the wolf and the goat, but he knew that Chandni had put up much more rather than she had within her. So she fought back like a brave soldier over there with all the courage and strength she had, even though she knew that this was a one-sided fight. So that quality first makes her the winner in the fight. So we have finished the chapter here. I will be giving you the question answers. You can mark it in your textbook. Thank you, dear.